Hi everyone. My tea kettle breweth over, so I'm serving tea. Now, this tea you may call shady or whatever. And I wasn't even going to say anything, but I heard something in particular that made me say, yeah, Tasha, say something. You got to get it off your chest. Now, Larry Nelson, calling Larry Nelson. I know that you and Jay are having differences, and you've read or whatever, but you called the writer lives dumb. I wasn't looking for you. You came up in my read. I saw the title. And I said, well, let me just hear what he's saying about Jay. Because before, I had never listened to what you were saying. So when I heard you call the writer lives dumb, I said, oh, no, baby. I got to let him know something. And then I decided, well, should I read you for filth or just tell you about yourself? So, love this lipstick. So in the frame of mind I'm in a pretty good mood, I says I'll just tell him about himself. I won't read the filth. Larry Nelson, you have been attacking Jay. You all have been going back and forth. But let me tell you something. You made a statement. The writer lives, darling, we are no dummies. Because that's what you said, we're dumb. Yes, I follow Jay. I find him interesting. I find him knowledgeable. He knows what he's talking about. And that's why I follow him. And he's funny too. And not the funny you think, making sure. But any old way, let me tell you something, Larry. When you were reading Jay, you were showing your house, well, your duplex. You were showing your duplex and the what you call it, DVRs that you had, movies, talking about you paid for it. I mean, you gave a little view of the house coming for Jay. And then when you made that comment that why would a single man buy a 5-bedroom house? What man does that? Only women do that. Then I knew, yeah, he's has an issue with the LGBT community down low. And then I said to myself, well, you know, girl, just maybe he has a problem with his sexuality. And he can't accept it. So he bites out at other people. Then you showed the picture of you with some woman. I don't know if it was your wife or not. And then you talk about your bedroom skills. Darling, what man of God does that? What does that prove? Telling Jay and everybody else that views you what you can do in bed. I wonder, are you that good in bed, first of all? But getting out of the gutter, you're talking about Jay didn't work. He could have worked at McDonald's. Nigga, Uber is a job. Jay got up at 4 a.m. Central Time and did Uber. He did Uber in the evening. Nothing's the matter with Uber. Listen to me, Larry. Larry Nelson. There's nothing wrong with Uber. A job is a job. At least he was out there making money to survive and take care of himself. And that's what he did. Just like you showed that needle in your arm where you gave blood for money, Jay did what he had to do. And mind you, my love, he did not beg the chat room for the money. He put out there what he was going through, his bills. People helped him. People in the chat room decided to help him, and it was a few. And he was grateful. But never the whole time that he was out of a job did he beg anybody, any of us, to send him money. People who sent him money, they did that on their own accord. And Jay would come on and talk about the progress of him getting a job. And mind you, Larry, he had a couple of jobs lined up after a few months. But he chose the best fit. And because he believed in God, and because he worked that Uber, he was blessed. So you showing your duplex trying to compete with Jay. That's what it all boiled down to. And because you had heard people talking about the rug on the wall, why would you have to explain what's in your freaking house? If it were me, I wouldn't care what people thought of my house. Look at me. This is my little corner in my chair. Sometimes my back acts up and I sit in my hard chair. And that's my window. I wouldn't care what anybody says. And I live in an apartment. You think I care what they say? No. But you giving a view, that was so childish. How can you compare a house to a duplex? And then, like Maddie, she has the chateau. Maddie has all those rooms and lives by herself. She's a transgender woman, so I wonder what you would call her, because she lives alone in the marvelous chateau. Wonder. And you attack Jay's sexuality. Talk about how he dressed. That was the one that got me, when you were talking about how he dressed. Sweetie, when Jay was going to those interviews, he was clean. Nice suit. Jay didn't have to prove anything to us about how he dresses. Okay? He can dress however he wants to dress. You're the one who's materialistic, because you had to show what you had and talked about your car. I think you're jealous of Jay. You really are. Jay never called himself a preacher, Larry Nelson. But what Jay did, he has education, he went to seminary school, and he preaches. That's what you do when you go to seminary school. But he never called himself a preacher. And on Sundays, he preaches. In the chat room, we have the choice of listening. But he never said he was a preacher. He just preached the Bible as he knows it. And if we accept to believe it or take the information, that's our choice. That has nothing to do with him trying to be a fake preacher. And also another thing. When Larry got a job, when Jay got a job, he only asked us for collection if we wanted to help other people in the chat room who were struggling. And then he kept it anonymous. They would send him an email, and then he would share who we're going to help. And he kept it anonymous. He did not even tell who needed what in the chat room. And he had it through PayPal so that it would be receipts. And then he said, if only the person who asked 2 people at a time who needed the help, if you wanted to testify about being helped, that was up to you. Otherwise, Jay kept it quiet. He didn't hear a thing. And a few people did make their testimony and thanked him for the help. That's what Jay did when he got a job. And he was trying to help people. Okay? So you, sitting around trying to prove you're a man, which I find that strange, because if you know who you are, you don't have to prove anything. Okay? When you have to keep saying you're a man, that's when I question what's going on. Okay? That's when I question. Jay never talks about I'm a man, I'm this or that. He's a man of God. And Jay has a certain style. He doesn't talk about certain things because that's his belief. And he's a man of God. Okay? And whatever Jay is, doesn't matter. Who cares? But you. You know what? I'm wondering, do you like Jay? That's the way you're coming off to me, baby. Oh, I dig in deep and look at every angle. And I wonder, do you like Jay? I wonder, does he go that way? Because you could be throwing little stuff out there. I'm good in bed with women and showing pictures of women and you with women. Honey, Andrew Cadwell, the one you make fun of and talk about, he talks like a marshmallow. I mean, he talks like a cartoon character. And by the way, you do a very good job of imitating people. You sound like a cartoon character. You should do voiceovers. You really could do it. You really could, and that's no shade, but you really do. But anyway, you made fun of Andrew Caldwell. So, what I'm saying is, Larry Nelson, just maybe, I'm wondering, do you like Jay? Because you're always after him. And it's like children in junior high. When they like somebody, they tease and talk about them, but they really like them. I wonder, is that your tease? I'm not questioning your sexuality. I could care less who you do. But you talk about what you do and you're a man and you grew up like a man so much. It makes me start to wonder. Like I did with Josh. And I have nothing against Josh. But that's another Oprah show. But Larry, stop it. You're a grown man. You talking about how many hours you worked and this and that, only trying to compete with Jay. Jay has a job. He's happy now. God blessed him. And you're jealous. See, Jay is not afraid to be transparent. But he does it in a humble way. You do it nasty and to be mean. You're almost another Kaya. You put me in the mind of her, the male version of Kaya. You kind of